All right, so I'll be giving another lecture, continuing what we were talking about before, databases. This time we'll actually be building a database. Does this class start at 4? Is that clock right? No, it's not 6 right now. Okay. Yeah, so we'll actually be building a database today. And later you should be having a lab. And so today I'll just kind of go over that lab pretty much. Yeah, so just awarding in advance, I don't have much experience with databases. I recently taught myself how to do this and went through these this lab. So this, I think you'll have this lab or a very similar one in the future, probably after your Python labs. So we can kind of like try to work through it together now. And I'll kind of show you how to do each step, whatever we get through. Hopefully that helps you. So yeah, let's create a database using a program called LibreOffice. You will have the option to use LibreOffice or Access, Microsoft Access. Those are two database programs that you can use to build databases. So I'll be using LibreOffice. So let's start a database. I just open LibreOffice and then hit New Database. All right. And now going through the lab, we want to create some tables. So before we, talked about making like a students table or a courses table. So today we will make a people table and an events table, and I think one other. So yeah, let's create this people table. We just go to tables, and use wizard to create table, I believe. Create table in design view. So yeah, that's just the first one. And then you can enter your different fields. So recall that we were using IDs in order to reference from one table to another. So we'll create an ID field. And the type for that field will be integer, which just means number, like 1, 2, 3. And that'll be the ID that we use to reference items in this table. All right. So let's enter full name, address, city, state, and zip code. I'll try to kind of go through this lab partially because I don't know if it's worth like doing the whole thing. But let's enter full name as, yeah, and all of these are just type text. So full name, address, city, state, zip. So one of the advantages of using databases over something like Excel is that you can add more structure if you want to do that. So, for example, if you have a lot of people working on the same database and somebody wants to add something to a database, you might want to impose some rules on how they're able to do that. You might want to say, all right, let's make one thing required. So if they try to enter something into this table, they have to enter at least a full name. So to make full name required, you down here, there are properties. You just select yes for entry required. So yeah. And then you can just save it and it's done once you name it. So we'll name it people. It's already in use in the database. Is this like a database that I created before? Or? Oh, sorry, I opened the previous one that I made. This isn't a new one from scratch. All right. I don't want to start over, so I'm just going to delete the other data, or I'll just name this people too. So ignore the first people and the first events, because I did this lab earlier before this class, and yeah, I don't want to recreate all these fields, so I'll just call this something else. And so no primary key is referring to this ID. We have to actually specify that that it's an ID. So we set auto number to true. You know, auto value to yes in the properties. So auto value to yes. Sorry if this isn't like the most engaging thing to watch, but you'll be doing this lab basically. So we can do it together now, and then you can do it later. If I fail at something, then you'll have to do it by yourself. But yeah, hopefully this helps somewhat. All right, so I saved, and then I can just close it, and there it is, people two. Let's see if I can delete these guys from my old, when I did this lab before. So yeah, and let's see if I can rename this to just people. Okay, there. And now I'll just do like literally the exact same thing for the events table. So create table in design view. We enter an ID, we make it an integer, we set auto value to true. So setting that to yes makes it like a key that we can use to reference from other tables. And then we add a when and a description. So the when will be a date time. So yeah, a date time field type. So then if someone wants to enter something into that field, they have to enter a date or time. So I'll add a description, and that's type text. That should be all. Except the when and the description fields, we want them to be required. So we select that field, we say entry required yes, and for description, entry required yes. And for description, we also will not allow like an entry length of 0. Let's see. So set allow 0 length to no for description. I think that might be only for Access. So you'll have the option to do this lab either in Access or in LibreOffice, and the two are a little bit different.
Access isn't part of the typical Office.
Access, I don't know if you can even get for free. So you'll probably be using what I'm using now, LibreOffice.
You have the free download that the school gives you for going here, you'll have access.
How do you know how you like get that?
It's a good question. It was just, I did whatever the school's instructions were, and when I searched access for my other class, it was there. And I definitely didn't buy it, so.
So you said
I do
you,
that too and don't have it.
were you like working with a database for one of these labs, or?
No, this is for a separate class.
Oh, it was for a separate class. Okay, wasn't sure. Because that was a much harder query than anything you have to do for this class.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is all gonna be like, yeah. I think for everyone, this is all gonna be a little easy, but it'll hopefully save you time when you actually have to submit it yourself. So yeah, I will continue going over this lab. So we save that. And we save it, call it events. And all right. So we have a people table and an events table. And let's do that exact same procedure again for the gifts table. So we'll have one more table to create. Let's do it faster this time. Gifts ID, integer, require auto value, yes. And now we have to fill in person ID. So, oh, okay, so now we're filling in foreign keys. So we'll be referencing like the people table from this table. So person ID will end up referencing the people table. We'll create those references in a bit. And yeah, so those are numbers, then event ID, number, event ID, also number, description, text, and thanked is a binary yes or no. Right. So we're gonna make all these IDs to be required. So by setting auto value to yes, we made this the primary key. ID is the primary key, and then the other ones will be foreign keys, but we'll require them. And yeah, that should be the whole. Oh, and for the thanked field, we can add a default thing, which will be, yeah, it'll just be no. So you will not be thanking for your gifts. Let's save this table as gifts. And great, so we made those foreign keys, which will be used to reference between tables. So now we actually want to create those references. So that's the next part. So we go to, yeah, this is under the tools part for LibreOffice. So yeah, there are like little differences between LibreOffice and Access. So we go to tools, relationships, and people, I think. And then we add gifts and events. People, events, and gifts. Okay, so we just add all of them. So then that reference key we had, that foreign key, person ID, to make it reference the people ID, we just drag, and it drags on, and then we let go, and so that should have made the relationship. Yeah. Huh. Column types do not match in statement. I'm not sure if that worked. I did this earlier and it worked, but let me see if I forgot to add some like special foreign key, like note in gifts. Set ID to be the primary key. No, all right, that should have worked then. So you've done this before.
Yeah.
Did I successfully create a reference there? Do you know?
Honestly, I'm not sure because I don't use LibreOffice.
Yeah.
Because as much as people say open source is just as good. Also, as a note, anybody who has a Mac in this room can't use Access. You have to use Office because it's not compatible.
Okay.
But yeah, the important thing is you have the IDs linked and all. Yeah, you're set.
How do you know they're linked though?
So if you see the little keys, oh.
Yes, the person ID needs to be linked to the people.
Yeah, usually there's a little string that attaches to
Uh-huh.
the table. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like a
that's
little
what
arrow.
that's what like it looked like last time. So
Usually you should be able to just drag the
yeah,
field from each
Yeah.
one to the next,
yeah,
and then it should create a little string.
that's what I did. It says
It's
column types do not match.
Are they the same format? It won't let you do it if like you
Yeah,
have.
they're both integers. Foreign key, person ID references people ID.
Didn't you just say that it doesn't work for LibreOffice on the Mac?
No, it doesn't. Microsoft Access.
Yeah, the alternative program that you can use.
Do you know if it comes with like the regular suite for Office or for LibreOffice?
No, but
I can see if I have it downloaded because I had to do it for one of the labs. I can mess around with it and see.
Huh.
I'll let you know.
all right. We don't have to use those quite yet, so we can continue on to the next part. But yeah, it literally is just click on one and then drag to the other.
That's how you. Yeah, that's how you do it.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
all I
you-
remember
don't think you put
doing.
Instructions for.
I didn't do anything special before, so I don't know what the difference is right now. But yeah, that should work. Let's see if I can connect the event ID. Or
Oh, they are connected. You see the little. It's not an arrow, but that little thing that says one. That what that's denoting is it's saying it's a one-to-one relationship.
yeah,
To have any sort of relationship, it has to be connected. Well, unless it's just like.
No, because that was already there before I even connected like event ID to events. I think. Yeah. There should be like an actual line. That's okay. The next part. The next part doesn't require that. So the next part is to create a form. If you figure it out though, let me know. Just interrupt and I'll go back to that.
Do you want to like save your database and just send it to me? And so I can see like it's because there's probably something wrong with like the.
No.
Okay.
But yeah, so this is technically your lab. We'll try to go through everything today. If we don't, you'll have to figure it out. So the next part is to create a form, which allows you to put data into the database using an interface, like an interface that makes it easy to do that. So yes, we just click on forms and then use a wizard to create a form. So let's get that wizard. And then
Is the link to this lab anywhere on?
I don't believe it's posted yet. Should be after the labs that are up now. And this one was from a previous year, so there might be minor differences. But yeah, honestly, it would have been good if we could all just like be working on it together. Yeah.
Do you know when this one's due?
No, sorry. So we're gonna make a form for the people table. So we just select people. And add all the fields. Yeah, add all the fields. And just go next, skip the subform, and then just, okay, so then, yeah, we've added the fields. We add the, no, we don't add a subform. And yeah, we select the the in blocks labels above one. And yeah, we go, yeah, we skip the rest and then we conclude it. You can select the style. And then we allow modifying the form. So yeah. So I wonder how much I can like skip through this without and still have all the different parts work together at the end, because a lot of this is redundant and slow. But yeah, I don't know, so I can't like make that decision. So yeah, we've actually created the form. This is the form. So now we're gonna add something to it by selecting design mode. We toggle design mode, and honestly, I shouldn't have included this ID field. Normally you wouldn't in a form. So then you can enter stuff. All right. So you can add this and any others. I'm just gonna hit enter. So everything disappeared, but if you want to see the previous record you entered, you can just go back along these arrows and then enter more stuff like that or modify stuff. So I'll close it and save it. And that's how we make forms. We could repeat the same thing for events. So this part's a little harder because we have to create a subform within the form itself. But it's basically the same thing. We just add a subform and then rearrange some stuff. And then, yeah. So yeah, this part will be slow, so I think that can be skipped. We can do the exact same thing to create an event. Yeah. So the way we added to the people form, we can add to the event form. And then we can query things. So that's how we get data out. So you use forms to put data in. You get data out now by making queries. So yeah. That's just the same as the other things. You go to queries, you create in design view, you use the wizard. Yeah, so where's that? Use wizard. So yeah, we'll add from the gifts table all of these things except ID. From the people table, everything except ID. Skip through the rest of this. Yeah, we're almost done. Just one more thing. The last part after we get data out is to just create a report. And that will be the end of the lecture, and you'll be able to do this lab by yourself, which I'm sure you'd be able to do anyway. So in LibreOffice, drag from person ID to the ID in people. There's no real place to do that. So, all right. Person ID to, I think I only select the query for. Okay, I'm lost in terms of the query. So you use a query to get data out. And intuitively, if you want to create a report, you go to report, you hit create report in design view, and yeah, you can skip labeling, select the format, and that's basically all you save, and then save it as a PDF. Yeah, that's how you create a report. So yeah, honestly, I think if there's gonna be this much like text on the lab, you could all do it yourself, but you got to see what LibreOffice looks like. If you want to install LibreOffice, you just, Google install LibreOffice, and it's the first link. So that's how you get it on your computer. You open it, you have it, you do your lab, you get an A, and yes, happily ever after. That should be all for this lecture.
I have a question.
Yeah,
They can go.
sure. Okay, I'll stick around after class if there are questions.
So it says that connection can't be established. I don't have Java.
For LibreOffice or
Mine said that too, and I just like clicked a bunch of buttons and then I got it to work. I don't know if
for
it's
installing
written
it or for what?
For using it, like I installed it, but it won't run.
Oh, it requires Java. You have to install Java. The computer
I
has
feel like that's
Java.
something I would already have though.
Yeah. How do you install it?
He did. Well, I mean, I tried, but. Yeah, mine was working. I'm sure the people but like no one else responded. Everyone's in the screen. Are you in it?
Yeah.
They call the teacher Miss.
You said the lesson part? I haven't read it, so now.
You can't come there.
I do have so what's the name of the thing that there's no Mac versions for it? It's kind of
Yeah, I do what I do. That's good. Is that not going for motion, right?
Yeah.
Then that's going to be because.
Oh, so there's like a web version?
Yeah, let's just go try it out. Is that,
Is the interface
you got any discussion?
I'm not doing
like what we have the desktop app looks like?
I think it's.
I couldn't even know.
Yeah, but there's like.
Yeah, I'm not sure this. How many, how many,
Maybe like if you like drag photos in.
this is the second.
Or-
Yeah, I'm gonna, you did something last week? And you only have 5.
That's
Not
way-
table.
That's.
So we have to like, deal with all of the. Oh, they said we should print this thing and carry tomorrow. Please remind me.
Happened. Where'd it go?
Oh, our worksheet.
Wait, so you dragged it in tonight? What? You have another thing?
Use my breakfast. Recess happens.
Or maybe just, send it to the paper.
When you see my papers on. Like you said, next week. Next week, yeah. If not, it's,
That's what I want to
I think it's like either this week or next week.
How about, how about this week, something more?
Maybe they'll give it tomorrow. If not tomorrow, it must be.
There's like a web version.
Bonus, that's what I have started
Is
last
there a
week.
laptop?
Oh,
Yeah.
this laptop.
No.
How about
Which are you?
Because she has another version. Called Captain, and then they can also do Python.
I cannot download it.
Yeah. Are you guys having trouble downloading? Yeah.
I would, okay, I mean, I was just asking because there's no place to submit the lab for this week.
Yeah,